So I want to start with a question. Chase, do you get writer's block?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I have a I have a solution for you.
All right.
It's the idea of translating the idea of minimum viable product into a minimum viable idea.
Yeah.
So this is how I start my writing. And I noticed this even back when I was in high school. When I try to start out making something good, it ends up worse than if I try to start out making something literally bad. And the reason is I throw away all those judgments because the only barrier to starting something is the judgment of that thing. You could go right there and play any note and you're started, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's at some point your judgment comes in and says, that's not quite good enough.
Mm-hmm.
So my idea of the minimum viable idea is it not the worst thing ever? Yes, then I'm going with it.
Yep.
And it literally, if like the piece I'm working on now, you can watch in my live stream. I started with just 2 notes, just B flat, A sharp, I guess, if we're thinking like that. Okay, and that's it. The whole piece is based around 2 notes, and I was like da da, and I was like, okay, good enough. And I think that's what I've really internalized is my brain will force that little idea into the shape of something good. And it gives me that constrained creativity where it's like, this is what I picked. Let me find some way to make it not suck anymore.
Yeah.
And I just slowly go through that process. And it could be a rhythm, it could be a sound. That's like why I know for you sometimes when you just have to make a whole track out of one piece of audio,
Yeah.
right? That gives you a lot of ideas
Yeah.
and you come up with something really cool.
That was one of my favorite projects in school, and I literally they called it the Soundbite Project, and I think the idea was like I took it to the extreme. I don't even want to try to explain what the original idea was. I took it to the extreme. It was, here's a clip of audio. When you hear audio come out of your song, it must be made of this. This is your raw material now. Mm-hmm. Meaning, you can't add drums to this. If you want drums, you better make your drum sounds out of this audio clip. You want a synthesizer? You better make your synthesizer out of this audio clip. You want any other sound in your track? It's coming from this audio clip. And then, go. That was so much fun. Anyway.
Yeah, but that's exactly what it is. And I just find that when you set out to make something good or great, for me, it ruins it immediately.
Yeah.
Because if I'm trying to find the perfect melody, I'm much more likely to find that if I just start with some tiny little idea and let it flow into something good. And it's just really about crafting it. It's like just going through all this raw material and being, I don't know, that's not quite good enough, and just sitting there all day, just pushing through. Nope, not this one. And the more you do it, the more the longer you spend looking for the right piece to start, the more judgmental you're going to get, because it's the sunk cost fallacy, right? It's I've already put in this much time, it better be good. When in reality, just cut the losses, pick the idea that comes, whatever it is. And I've just found that to help so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that was really the core of what I wanted to hit on is it's the mindset of prejudging. And I just wanted to make that suggestion.
Yeah, so you mentioned a phrase, constrained creativity. I think that's worth highlighting. I heard that from, I saw Philip Glass talk about that a long time ago. But I actually went to a lecture where he talked about that. And that has been something that has stuck with me for writer's block for forever, where you give yourself a rule set, and almost like the tighter the rule set to a point.
Yeah.
The tighter the rule set, the more creative you can be. If you've got blank canvas, no rules, you can do whatever you want. That's where my mind's blank too.
Yeah.
Blank canvas, blank mind. But yeah, often if I'm creating from scratch, which I actually don't do as much anymore. A lot of times, I'm collaborating a lot. So
sure.
I don't have as much fully from scratch creation as other points. But that's something that I'll do, is define my rule set first. And rules, I feel like rules are easy to come up with sometimes. It's like, okay, don't use, you could come up with stupid rules like you only get one octave.
Yeah.
And everything in the whole song has to be inside that octave. Or you only get 2 notes to start with.
Yep.
Or, you can define your rules however you want. But that constraint on creativity unlocks a new level of thinking. And really, like, that's part of that mindset too. Your rules, one of your rules has to be, I have to make something.
Yeah.
Right? That's part of your rule set. I have to make something, and it doesn't violate all these other rules. Go.
Exactly. And I think one of the things you kind of hit on there is that it makes it like a game.
Yeah.
And games are fun.
Yeah.
So instead of having this pressure of, I got to make something good, it becomes a game of how do I, it like unlocks a whole different part of your brain, which is problem solving.
Yeah.
And not theorizing almost.
Yeah.
It becomes more practical when you have something to work with, and just having an object of focus it's like meditation, right? You're having some object of focus, whether it's your breath or whatever else people use, a sensation, and letting that kind of draw that cycle of thoughts to that point to break that cycle. And it's the same thing with having something. If you can press and have it play back what you have and have something there rather than nothing, I think it just will automatically be that like check to bring you back, center yourself, and remember what you're doing. How do I solve this problem?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people who go into music are like problem solver type people. I think people, especially composition, it's almost a mathy type of, especially if you like to use theory, like kind of problem solving. How do I figure out how to get to this place with these raw materials?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool.
Right.